remember who you are, because you're not a paycheck person. You're not just 9 to 5. You are a soul with purpose, with love, with light. I believe that if your soul is ready to be awakened, it will just search for that. And so you will find ways, and then God in the universe will just align everything for you.
If listeners remember one thing from today's conversation, what do you want it to be?
Remember that the medicine is within you.
Welcome back to Beyond the Briefcase and our Wellness and Wisdom series. If you joined us for my conversation with Dr. Patrick Porter, you'll remember how he shared the power of neuroscience and technology to rewire our brains, reduce stress, and build resilience. Today, we're continuing that journey of inner transformation, but we're taking a different doorway in. My guest is Mariana Becker, founder of Guided by Light, a wellness practice dedicated to helping people awaken their inner light through breathwork, energy healing, and integration coaching. Mariana's own journey, moving from struggle and self-discovery to healing and purpose, became the foundation of her mission to guide others back home to themselves. She believes the light we're searching for already lives within us, and her work is about helping people release what no longer serves, reconnect with themselves, and step fully into their potential. So whether it's Dr. Porter using neurotech or Mariana guiding us back to the breath, what ties these conversations together is the reminder that transformation begins within, and that healing is not just a personal journey, but a collective mission. Welcome to the show, Mariana.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Matt. Grateful to be here.
So I have a question for you before we get started. If you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be and why?
Right now, Thailand. Just because it's been calling me for some reason. I just think about Thailand all the time, and trees and temples and tranquility and just being at peace, more at peace, I should say.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting. Yeah. Personally, I would love to go there too. I haven't had the same journey as you in some of those other parts of the world, but that's interesting. So I want to jump right in. I want to hear about your story. So I want you to share that transformation and what led you from struggle to purpose.
Well, I want to say that it started probably a year and a half ago, where, living the perfect life, health and happiness, and the kids are great. Relationships, work, everything is just working just fine. And, with that comes success and more money. And with all that, I still go home and feel empty. Like something was missing. Like there was something that I couldn't feel with any of the things that will check the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
So time goes on, we get into a busy season at work, and I noticed that I start taking things even more personal. And it started to, that energy that was coming to me start affecting my body. And so I start feeling, and maybe I should backtrack a little bit, but when I was little, I grew up with some sort of cardiac disease that nobody could really understand.
Mm-hmm.
And what it would do, it will give me a lot of anxiety to the point that I'll have an arrhythmia, and then I will just pass out. And then I would just come back and kind of like it was going on and off.
Around what age range was that happening?
I want to say it was probably between 4 years old and 15 years old. Okay. And the doctor said, well, you're going to grow out of it. It's something that we kind of know, but we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on with my life knowing that. And fast forward, it stopped at 15. I went on with my life, had kids. Anxiety will creep in a couple times, especially after my pregnancies. And then stop again. And then fast forward, here we are, 2023, 2024. And I start getting this same scenarios where I did not pass out, but I will have, my heart will race crazy. I will start just like getting, just feeling very weird all over my body. And so then I started searching for a doctor, and I said, listen, I just have to figure it out what's going on with me, because especially after I had literally a mental breakdown at work, I couldn't handle it anymore, and I was about to walk out the door. And so I found this amazing doctor, and I saw this doctor, and I walked into his office. He looked at me, I explained everything I had, and he said, right, looking at my eyes, do you meditate? And I'm like, this can be right. Why is he asking me to meditate? Yeah. I'm like, there's no way. And I look right back at him, and I'm like, no, why? Like, what does this have to do with meditation?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, because I believe that you are overwhelmed and stressed. And I say, yeah, all of the above. But this is something that I know is medical, because between age 4 to 15, I've been told this was medical. So you need to fix me.
Mm-hmm.
And so those conversations went for a couple months until he implanted a monitor in my heart. And he's like, listen, we still don't find what you're telling us.
Had you started meditating yet?
Yes, now, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. But for an entire year, I keep fighting. And it was funny, and I'll tie the dots later, but he kept giving me a sticky note with names of different podcasts or YouTube videos to see for meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put it in my purse, and I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And so he did do a procedure. He said, listen, just for your peace of mind, we're going to do this procedure, and we'll see what we can find, but I'm not sure that we're going to find anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did the procedure, went back, and he's like, okay, well, you need to incorporate meditation.
Were you still skeptical at that point?
Oh, 100%. I was like, this crazy doctor. And I will tell my husband, I'm like, he's crazy. And I'm spending all this money, and he's crazy. But something's telling me that he's going to find the solution.
Okay.
I just have to be patient. And so still did not meditate. And he said, listen, I know that you don't want to meditate. There's one more thing that I want you to think about. Have you heard about psychedelics?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, what is that? Mm-hmm. And he said, how about ayahuasca? And I'm like, yeah, of course, ayahuasca. I'm from Peru. I know what ayahuasca is, but I will never do that. That's crazy. And he said, okay, I'm not telling you to do that, but I want you to look into psychedelics and the power of psychedelics with things that are, emotions that are trapped in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started going on about psychedelics, and we actually, at that point, I was so desperate. We did a treatment, and he talked about doing a ketamine treatment at his office. Again, no idea what ketamine was at that point. And I said, I just need to do something, because I'm at loss. I feel not good at all. And I know something is trapped inside of me. Like, I know where you're coming from. I don't understand it, but I can hear my soul understanding what you're saying. It's just my body that is refusing to do whatever you're telling me to do.
Interesting.
So at that point, I tried that, and I remember that before he brought up the ketamine, he said to me, you need to stop. You need to stop, because you're going to kill yourself. You are in a constant fight and flight mode. And
what was he telling you to stop?
I guess my brain just going around like, I'm sick. I have something. I need to. I don't even know. Like, I know the feeling, and it's hard to explain, because I do know how I felt. I just couldn't understand why. Like, it got to a point that I lost faith in humanity. I was so upset that people will come to see me at my workplace and be so angry and so mad and so unhappy that I just couldn't understand why they were taking it on me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really hard for me to have those emotions. And
you were the leader at that organization, which you still work for.
Which I still
and
work
so
for.
The leader is supposed to have it all together.
Yeah.
So you were wondering, why don't I have it all together? And something's got to give.
Exactly. So I was a failure for myself, for my team, for, I guess, society, because I lost faith in humanity. And it was just the ball that was just growing and growing. Mm-hmm. And the anxiety was continued to growing, and then my physical body was having a reaction to that.
Okay.
And so I went through this ketamine treatment with my heart wide open, just trying to find solutions. And that was the first time that I tried psychedelics. It was different.
This was in a controlled environment too, so that's a little different than
Yes.
trying it on the weekends for recreational use.
Exactly. This was at the doctor's office, and he will. At that point, I didn't understand any of the things that were happening. Which now, looking back, I'm like, oh, okay, that everything makes sense.
Yeah.
But he would play music for me, and I would just start going into this mini journey where I will start seeing things that I just didn't make sense of it, but they were bringing me back to the same place, which it was my childhood and my teenage years. And it was kind of quick. I said it would take like maybe an hour. And then I would just go home, and my husband would drive me, of course. And then I would spend probably a whole week very raw, and my emotions were very out there. And I was doing a lot of releasing, which I didn't know, but that was the point of it, just releasing that energy that it was just so stuck in my chest, and I just couldn't let it out. Because that was the other thing too. I'm a mother, I'm a leader, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife. I cannot cry, right? I'm holding the fort, so I cannot cry. I cannot show my emotions. Everything's okay. You keep on giving me more, and I keep on saying, it's okay, we got it. Everything's fine as long as everybody's okay. That constant giving,
Yeah.
and not allowing yourself to receive. So that was the first time that I tried my psychedelics, and I want to say that was the beginning, absolutely the beginning of my journey from there.
And so, what was there a defining moment when you realized you wanted to guide others?
I know it's going to sound cheesy, but when I saw the light, that's literally it. Almost a year later, I was introduced to a really good friend, and I was able to go through a more deeper journey with psychedelics.
Okay.
And which, by the way, if anybody is very curious about psychedelics and their effects, there is a show on Netflix called You Can Change Your Mind that talks about all the researchers that have been done since the 1950s and how it have been proven that psychedelics help you release emotions,
Turn your ego off.
Turn your ego off, be able to see the light, be able to connect with the source, with God, to be able to realize that there's certain things that even though they were traumatic, you can see it in a more loving way, more compassionate way, and you're able to heal those emotions throughout the journey of the psychedelics. And they're actually, they grow around us, most of them.
So you saw the light. You realized that you were passionate about this because of how your own journey transpired. You were skeptical. You knew there was something going on. You eventually, something clicked, and you're like, I want to share this with as many people as possible because you see joy in having other people experience that same feeling of release and things like that. I imagine that a lot of people are dealing with those same things, but they can't put their finger on it, and they're skeptical. I was skeptical years ago. Some might started calling me crazy in my early 20s, and then I moved around careers a lot, and you're always searching like what causes me to be who I am. And fast forward, similar, you have success, parenthood, being marriage, all the things that come along with being a big boy or a big girl, right? And then more importantly, having to have it all together, but not really having a practice for yourself that helps you cope with those things, aside from medicating with prescription meds and things that the doctors might otherwise defer you to, the traditional doctors.
Yes. And for me, I feel it's more the purpose. That was the thing that was missing. It's my purpose. I do all of these things, but what is my actual purpose? Why why was I sent to this world? Why did I choose this life? There had to be a purpose, right? So with my journey, I was able to see the light and be able to connect with God in a way that I always been connected with God, which that's another thing too. I'm as Catholic as it comes. So all of this meditation, psychedelics, and all the things that we will be talking about today are not seen very well with the Catholic Church, right? But as I've always been very connected with God, this was like the ultimate connection of like, I believed in you. I knew you were here. Now I get to see you. I get to see your power so magnificent. The purpose that you're showing me my purpose in life. You're showing me what I was. I chose this life. I didn't choose this life, or you didn't put me in this life to suffer. You put me in this life to learn, to remember the soul that I was before in this many other lives.
Interesting.
So that was amazing. Automatically, as I went into my journey, the first thing that came to mind was, I'm a healer. That was clear as water. I'm a healer, and I am meant to heal people. And when I say healing, I'm talking about healing of the heart. I had a memory when I was little that, ironically, my mom reminded me a couple of weeks ago. I was 9 years old, and I remember my grandmother asked me what did I want to do when I grow up. And I said, well, when I grow up, I want to be a cardiologist. And they're like, wow, a cardiologist. At age 9, right? I'm like, wow.
They're like, yes, we're doing something right here.
Yeah, and the fact that I could say cardiologist, right?
You're right.
So, and they said, well, why? I'm like, because I want to heal hearts. And so that right there, when I saw that in my journey and my mom reminded me, I was like, of course it was. Of course it was. I knew it. I knew since I was little that I needed to cure hearts.
Okay.
And so that was one of the things that came into my journey and healing. And I was able to heal a lot of the emotions that were stuck within me. I always say that it's your perception and the truth. So I was able to see the truth. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful, beautiful. And from there, I just started to live with purpose.
And so the perception distinguished from the truth is the ego affects your understanding of perception based on your upbringing, your life experiences. But the truth is the truth no matter what your state of mind is. So you were able to get closer to the truth. So that brings you to guided by light. What does guided by light mean to you personally?
I'm always guided by the light of God. And so that name, when it came to mind, it was just perfect.
You didn't have to think twice about it.
No.
Well, so how do breath work, energy healing, and integration coaching work together in your practice?
So this is all fairly new for me. I want to say breath work is something that it was mind-blowing when I got into breath work. The fact that you can actually utilize your breath to also go into journeys without even having the psychedelic portion of it. You can get there and you can heal emotions that are stuck in your body just with your breath. And it's amazing that we breathe all the time. Usually we breathe very shallow and we don't even realize that. And then once you start getting into the breath work and learn how to breathe and start just having that daily routine, or even if you do it once a month, but just having that breath work going on, you get to just, again, release all these stuck emotions, regulate your nervous system. You feel more focused, you feel more relaxed, more motivated. I don't even know how to explain it because it just works.
Yeah, you have to really experience it to understand how powerful it really is. Yeah. I've been practicing with breathwork myself, just from reading other people reading the literature of other people, listening, and just trying things. I went to a conference this summer in Austin that the guy who wrote the work Breathe did a demonstration on stage where he asked everybody to, practice one of the breath techniques. And since I had already tried something, let's just say he had a very captive audience. Mm-hmm. When you have not so captive an audience, it's hard until you actually practice it. So that leads you to some of the things that you do where you're leading these breathwork classes to introduce people to it. For someone new, what can they expect from a first experience? Someone new to breathwork.
Well, I mean, everybody has a different experience. Every time that I have my classes, I go over the things that you will experience in general, because not everybody, again, is the same.
Yeah.
But I will say that the most common things are the movement of your energy. And every time that happens after the breathwork class, everybody in the circle that we do like a sharing circle, everybody says the same thing. It's like, wow, you talked about the tingling in my fingers and in my feet and in my entire body. And then to feel it is like, holy cow, I do have it's truly my energy flowing.
It's like that when something gives you the chills, yes, that's the energy that is affecting your body from the inside.
Exactly. So you are more aware that is your energy. And then I also mentioned that there are things like, again, anxiety. You might feel anxiety, and that anxiety feeling is your ego brain telling you, this is stupid, don't do it, what are you doing? You're not into this. So it will try to talk you out of it, and the importance of saying no. This is
so if somebody is skeptical and they don't believe in it, they're going to have a harder time experiencing it.
A hard time letting go and surrendering, I would say. But that's where I come in, where I will guide you through getting to let go of that monkey mind and just surrender to the feeling, surrender to the music.
How long do these sessions normally last, at least for an introductory one?
I would say the actual breath work is about 30 minutes.
Okay.
But we usually do an hour, 15 to just, Q&A and then the sharing circle. Because you will go through the breath work itself, then we do meditation. And then in part of the meditation, we do what is called reprogramming. So as you're letting go to this emotions or energies that no longer serve you, we are reprogramming to bring the ones that they're still within you. They're just been a little bit, the light has been a little bit dimmed. So we're trying to make that light brighter, and we help you get there. And then we do integration, where we also talk about it and just kind of share it.
Yeah.
There's other things that you can feel. There's something called tetany. Which is more common as the lobster.
How do you spell that?
Tetany, TENTENTICI.
Is there a C in there? Silent C?
Tetany, maybe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Tetany.
English is not my first language.
But is that a Latin word?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I will have to find out.
All
but
right.
It's more common known as the lobster hands, because your hands go like this. And so as the oxygen is flowing through your body and the energy and everything, you could tense like this. So the best advice is to just breathe into it.
So that word describes what's happening to your body automatically as you're practicing these breathing and release. Interesting.
Exactly. So there's a lot of things that could happen. Some people feel cold, some people feel hot, but it's just your body adjusting to your breath. You're giving energy to your breath. We breathe every day. There's something that we cannot live without, right? But once you give it the actual work and the purpose, your body starts just kind of adjusting to all of this. And then at the end, you're like, wow, this was just...
Would somebody expect to be transformed even just a little bit after that one initial?
100%.
And then what would you tell them to continue after that? Let's say they just wanted to try it out, but they believe in it, it's doing something. How would they do that on their own?
So I certify myself through Elemental Rhythm.
Okay.
So Elemental Rhythm, they do have an app. And Gio is the one that created Elemental Rhythm. He is the teacher that taught us and certified us. He's amazing. And his voice, once you hear his voice too, his voice is just...
soothing.
It's so good. He's amazing. And so he put this app together to be able to reach more people. So in this app, We get a special code that we can give to the students so they get a discount for the app. Most of the breath work that he offers is free. There are some that you have to pay the membership, but he's on Spotify as well.
But at least you start, you have something to go off of, and then there's a way to facilitate that without a live person in the future so they can practice on their own.
Exactly. They can practice on their own. I also offer one-on-one that I can do with them, or they just can come to my classes. It really depends on your needs. Some people are like, wow, this is amazing, and then they forget about it and then comes back.
Yeah.
It also has to do with the connection with your soul, because I believe that if your soul is ready to be awakened, it will just search for that. And so you will find ways, and then God and the universe will just align everything for you. And it is so amazing how it happens.
But you got to be intentional about it.
100%. And we do set intentions as we're getting into the breath work, because also you don't want to take breath work just because, well, I'm going to try and see what's up.
Yeah.
It's more of like, okay, what's my intention going in? What do I want to release? How do I want to connect? With who am I want to connect? A lot of people have different experiences.
So you often say the light already lives within us. And you've said that today as well. How do you help people reconnect with that truth?
So aside from breath work, I think meditation, it's a big portion of it too.
And should they be playing a soundtrack while they're meditating?
Yes, I usually, I do. There's a lot of things on Spotify that you can use. There's one that I really, really enjoy that is called high frequency music. And you can find it on Spotify, and it's great. It's very soothing. I must say that a lot of people think, just like I thought, that meditation has to be guided and meditation has to be the right music. And just, I was so caught up on all the things that needed to happen that I forgot of what really meditation is. And it's just sitting still with your own mind, with your own thoughts, with your heart. Try to kind of like stop thinking and just feel.
Yeah. And to that point, I know people that struggle with meditation that say, oh, I can't turn the voices off. There's no way I can meditate. I learned years ago that it's called the practice of meditation for a reason, because as long as you're practicing it, you're going to get the benefits from it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be practiced. So over time, you will get better at it, but you're always going to have the voices enter your head or the thoughts race at some point. Of course, depending on whether you start the day meditating before you've had the outside influences of the world, kids, spouses, work duties, traffic, and then at the end of the day, you're trying to gather all that. So I think there's different times where you'll be easier to go into that meditative state than others, but the music definitely helps.
Yeah, 100%. But I think because I was one of those people that I will go into meditation or did not want to go into meditation because it would give me anxiety. And
trying to meditate.
And now I know that it was because my mind was so in control, my ego mind, which, by the way, you're never going to be able to get rid of your ego, and ego is not bad, but ego loves to create stories. So if you allow those stories to come in and forget about feeling and be in tune with your heart and get into that heart coherence and just listen to your body and listen to your breath and just calm yourself, then yes, of course, you're going to have anxiety. And meditation is going to be difficult, but it's not difficult.
That reminds me of what Joe Dispenza does, where he has these, when you said brain coherence, that reminded me of the
heart coherence.
Heart coherence. Sorry. Maybe I got that mixed up. But you can't, I don't know if you can measure heart coherence. You can measure brain, but since the brain controls the heart.
They go together.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a big believer of the feeling. Again, you mentioned almost like the right time to meditate, right? I don't believe that there's a right time to meditate. Now, do I love to do it in the morning as I'm in the twilight of waking up and sleeping? Yes, because my brain will, you can actually create. And Joe Dispenza talks about that too, right? You are able to create your destiny, your future. You'll be able to create your day. However, I don't think there's a special time to meditate. I think the special time, you are the one that decide when the special time is. I mean, many times I have come home and be like, oh my gosh, what a day. Like I just can't. And then I just say to myself, you know what? I'm going to meditate and go back upstairs, I like to burn some incense and play my music, and I just go into like deep meditation. And deep meditation could be different for a lot of people. For me, it's just like, okay, Mariana, like, let's go back to remembrance, right? Remember who you are, because you're not a paycheck person. You're not, just 9 to 5. You are a soul with purpose, with love, with light. And, just like go back to that. And I remember, and then my entire being just shifts. And I'm like, okay, that's right. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. So what's one common block people face when trying to embody their fullest potential?
I think it goes back to the mind.
So you say you do these integration talks after the guided breathwork session, and you said there was a common theme, and it all had to do with the feeling, right? So the feeling being tied to the heart. Did anybody express like the thoughts that were coming to their mind, or some common theme that was blocking them from getting into that state? Or at least were they able to articulate it at the time?
Yes, a lot. Well, not a lot, but some people talk about how sometimes like the mouth got dry or their nose got dry, or the mind gets in them and they're like, oh my gosh, I am hyperventilating, I'm gonna die, which they're really not. So it's very important for me to, at the beginning, let them know and reassure them of how safe they are, because it's safe. It's just your breath, right? But they do share a lot of like past events. That's very common, where you hear them say, I went back to when I was 5 and I saw my grandma, or I went back to see my...
it triggered a memory from the past.
Exactly. And it takes you to actual like feeling it. So you're feeling the moment, whether it was sad, happy, or anger, or you name it. And then you're able to, because you're most of the time you see yourself, right? So you're able to see yourself with compassion and with love, and not criticism and not judgment. You're just kind of seeing that young person say, oh my goodness, like, I want to hug you.
Yeah.
Like, let me hug you, because you were so, alone and you needed this hug, and nobody was able to give you this. But I'm coming back to that timeline, and I'm giving you this hug, and we're healing ourselves. And so by the time you are going back to the moment of integration, that's one of the most powerful things that people realize. It's like, I healed that moment. I went back in time, and I actually dried my own tears. I hug myself and I said, everything is going to be okay. Look at us, right? We're mothers or fathers, or we're successful. We are, living in love and light, and this is beautiful. We healed ourselves. And that's kind of what, that's the energy that makes them do it more. I want to continue to heal myself, because I don't want to feel sad anymore. I don't want to feel overwhelmed anymore. I want to be able to acknowledge the feeling and then just kind of move on with that,
and that's what's driving them to continue these practices that they were maybe introduced to for the first time in one of those breathwork sessions. Well, you believe healing is not only personal but collective.
100%.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even just with breathwork, because as soon as we're doing that circle, we have 20 people that are sharing their hearts, that are sharing their emotions with the strangers. And all you can see, and I think that's the part that really fills my heart, because I see them really being compassionate to one another. And with that energy of love is being channeled to each other with this, it's almost like I see it like a beam of light coming from the heart to the other heart. And they're just like healing each other. They're completely strangers. They may not see each other again ever. But in that moment in time, we become or remember to be these loving souls that just want to help everybody feel the same way, which is feeling loved.
Could you imagine if they had a breath work requirement for the members of Congress or a politician before they ever took office? I'm just thinking, like, what else? Who else needs this breath work, this compassion? The politics are so polarized these days that it seems like we need to come back to who we are, what made us, thrive as a country, and all that. And
but if you see, like, if you hear about any of the people that are like all the MVPs of any sport, they talk about breath work. And they even say in interviews the breath work that they do before they go into a tennis match, into a basketball game or a football game.
Well, I think it was stigmatized to the point where nobody really talked about the true value of breath work for years. So these things were done behind closed doors and they weren't talked about, right? As a former athlete, at least in high school myself, the only thing, there was no breathing practice. Sometimes, let's say before a track meet, you would have to psych yourself out, but you were doing it to have confidence, not necessarily to get your mind right. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but that's interesting. And
it's kind of to shake the nerves, right? A lot of people are like, okay, like before an interview, you're like, okay,
yeah,
deep breath in.
Or before you go speak to one of your children about them getting in trouble.
Exactly.
Take a deep breath, Mom, Dad. Okay, now I'm ready.
Right? But it's if you think about it even a little bit further, you're like, what you're doing is you're centering yourself to your true self, right? Because you don't want to say anything that is essentially, going back to your kids, you don't want to say anything that's going to hurt them because you come from a place of love, right? So you're trying just to like, okay, how am I not going to murder this kid, right? But it's like a remembrance of centering yourself and making sure that you're just trying to feel from your heart what really needs to come out of you, a message for your kids.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, what ripple effects have you seen in communities with when individuals begin to heal? I know this is still early on in your journey teaching these groups, but I imagine you start to see somewhat of a ripple effect as you hear reports back from people. And
yeah, I think, again, it goes back to like when you feel what it does to you, you just crave more, right? And then you just want to, or at least in my case, I want to share it with, everybody, as many people as I can, whether I sound crazy or not. And we talked about this earlier, right? And I talk about it with my husband all the time when he would say like, well, you sound a little crazy.
Yeah.
But what's really crazy?
What is crazy?
Right?
Yeah.
It works. And I think for me, the overall healing, as I said, it is within you, but it lays in love. And it goes back to God or Buddha or, Shiva or mermaids, aliens, whoever you believe in, right?
Yeah. Some higher power.
The higher power, the divine, the source, it's love. That's the core of it. Humans, we need love. And that's why even like in the Bible, right? God created Eva, right? For companionship, for love, because we need that. We need that connection. We need that love. And I think that ties down to the healing. Just share that love. Just share that love, share that compassion. And it starts with yourself, right? To be compassionate with yourself, to be loving with yourself.
You think we're too hard on ourselves?
100%. I learned that lesson. I was always very hard on myself.
But isn't being hard on yourself what helps you level up with your resilience? Isn't that an important part of the process?
Yes, but I think there's a fine line, right? When we're just beating ourselves. There's no need to beat ourselves. We don't need to be, I will put it this way. Sometimes we really get caught up on, we stop being humans and we start doing. So we stop being beings and start being doers. So we focus on what we're doing, how much money we're going to do, and how much praise am I going to get, how successful am I going to be. And we forget about just like, I am here in this amazing, beautiful world full of beautiful nature. And, look at your kids and look at your, your wife and everything that surrounds you and your friends. And it's just so beautiful.
It reminds me of the saying, stop and smell the roses.
100, yeah, 100%.
Where when you watch your children walk through, let's say, a botanical garden or just down the sidewalk, and they stop to look at whether it's, I have boys, I don't know if you experience this, a lizard or a fly, and you're like, come on, let's get going. We got somewhere to be. And they're just like fixated on this. And so they are real good at stopping to smell the roses. But then I think that they get sucked right into that. The energy from the parents is what transfers over to them, and eventually they become just like us. So I think this, have you had any children, or I'd say under 18, join your breathwork class yet?
No, not yet. Not yet, but my daughter most recently told me that she wanted her and her boyfriend to do the breath work.
And how old's your daughter?
She is 18.
Okay.
So she's like, I want to try it. I want to try it.
Well, I know they're bringing yoga into the classrooms. They're doing these wellness things at certain schools, and it's usually optional, but I think it's becoming more mainstream with the children too. You can,
and even at work, like right now, because again, it goes back to my purpose, right?
Yeah.
Am I going to quit my job? No, right? We need to have that human part of it.
Yeah.
But my chip has changed. So now it goes back again to how am I going to help my community? How am I going to help my environment? And so I brought it into my work. And my meetings with my teams, we always start the meeting with centering ourselves, doing a breathing session, set an intention for that meeting, and help us be more focused. And so then I share it with my boss, and my boss is like, I love it. I want you to do it with our 22 other managers.
Oh, that's awesome.
And now he's saying, well, I want you to do it with the assistant managers. So it's, it's creating that.
That's the ripple effect right there.
Ripple effect. And it's all for just the good of the group, just for the satisfaction of knowing that you are getting closer to yourself, to your higher self, and closer to whomever you believe.
Yeah.
And just leave at peace, not worried about, oh my gosh, what I'm going to do tomorrow or the next day or the day after, just leaving the moment and avoiding any type of anxiety.
Yeah, and they say stress is a normal part of life, but if you learn to manage it with breath work, meditation, and daily practices, then it's incredible. One of the things you said to me, you've known me for, I'd say, 7, 8 years, maybe the first time we met.
Yeah.
And you said, something has changed about you, Matt. I don't know what it is, but keep doing whatever it is you're doing. And I felt like I had changed, but what really started to hit me over the last several weeks of having this daily practice, whether it's with my brain tap device or just practicing breathing myself, I've noticed that I'm able to pause before responding and or reacting to something my children my children say, or my wife say, or a client has said, or an employee has said, and I'm able to, it could just be 2 seconds, but it's enough for me to respond with love and compassion, which is one of our core values. And I've noticed that difference in myself. Next thing I'm working on is my facial expressions, right? They say that your face is going to speak more than yours. So you may be okay on the inside, but just make sure you're not looking opposite of how you're actually trying to feel on the inside.
Yes.
So I want to talk to you we'll have some rapid fire questions as we start to wrap up today. I've really enjoyed this conversation with you. We haven't talked this deep about things yet. What's one mantra or affirmation that you return to?
So very recently, and again, parenthesis, this is where, my son a little crazy. I promise you it's not crazy. I was given my spiritual name.
Okay.
And it came on meditation. And I say God because I do believe in God. And God came to me and he gave me my spiritual name, which is Shantukanti. And I was meditating and I just repeated it and repeated it. And I Googled what it was. And it's peaceful radiance.
Wait a second. So this name just popped in your head? You hadn't read this in a book? None of your teachings overseas or local?
No,
That's
nothing.
pretty wild.
It just came to me.
Gives me the chills, even though I'm wearing this jacket and all, but that's
it just
powerful.
came to me.
Wow. So it means what again?
Peaceful radiance.
Peaceful radiance. Wow.
So that's my daily mantra. So in the mornings,
I couldn't even repeat that if you asked me to.
No, it was very interesting because it just came to me, and I'm like, wow, okay, it means something. I journal a lot too, so I wrote it down, and then I Googled it, and I actually put it on ChatGPT too because I wanted to understand it even more. And so that's what it means, and
Wow, that's good stuff.
that's what I said in the mornings. So every morning I am thankful for everything that, the new day, the new breath, all these things that with God. And then I say my spiritual name 3 times. And that gives me just, the extra push that I just to live my day. So
That's good. So meditate hard enough until your spiritual name comes to you in a vision as well. I don't think you're crazy. I think that the people who are crazy are the ones who aren't willing to try some of these things that people swear by, including breath work and meditation and just kind of centering yourself on love. Well, what's a book, teacher, or a practice that changed your life?
So there's a lot of books that I really, really enjoy. I want to say that the book that helped me understand my remembrance is a book by Brian Weiss. It's called Many Masters, Many Lives. And he has a collection of 5 books. He's actually a psychiatrist that and he's still alive, by the way. He practiced, what is the word? It totally went out. But
Brian Weiss, Many Masters, Many Lives.
yes. So he through hypnosis, he takes you back into your past lives and he helps you heal any type of emotion. So he is another doctor that did not believe in medicating people. There has to be a way. So he put him through hypnosis and helped them remember their previous lives. So that was one book that a friend recommended. And it's interesting because he said, enjoy remembering. And I finished the book in 1 week, I think it was. And I was like, whoa, this really, really helped me understand and remembering. And I will remember in my dreams, it will take me back to my past life through meditation. So that was really cool. But that's one of the books that I really, really enjoy.
Well, I wrote it down. I'm going to check it out for sure. Many Masters, Many Lives by Brian Weiss.
Yes.
If nothing else, you can learn a little bit more about how he used meditation to change his patients' lives.
Yeah.
What's something that most people don't know about you?
For some reason, that question gave me chills. That's a really hard question. I'm not sure. Say the question.
Well, you haven't always been an open book, presumably, right? And I'm sure you're not quite that, but you're more transparent and honest with yourself. So the question is, what is something that most people don't know about you?
I think the people are going to start getting to know me now. Because before, I don't know exactly when it started. I know exactly when it ended. And I was constantly trying to be myself, but incorporating who do you want me to be? Where now I'm very clear of who I am, and I'm just me. And I just have to be. And so whatever that means, whatever that brings to you, whatever energy I bring into your life, that's me.
Maybe just being honest or outspoken about these things helps people not only get to know you better, but also think about how they get to know themselves better.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes when I speak, and I know that is, God, the Holy Spirit talking through me. people have a question mark. And I want to believe that it's not just a question mark for like, did we lose her? Is she crazy? But it's more of like, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. That's definitely something that I'm going to pay attention to, or maybe I'm going to read that book, or maybe I need to really take a step back and reassess my my options.
Many of the women in business in the wellness space that I know of, they, let's say they're in a leadership position, a lot of it comes in the clinician space where you have licensed mental health counselors. Little that I know of are coming from the finance and banking industry that are taking on these things. So I think you're really opening the door to have more executives and more CEOs feel like they're safe, not only trying these things, but sharing the benefits of them with people and just walking more in humility.
Yeah.
Being comfortable in your own skin, in your own shoes.
Yeah, because I believe that, especially if you start from the top, right? If the CEO understands the power of your breath, the power of meditation, it just trickles down to, the person that cleans the office.
Yeah.
Right? And that's very powerful, because then I'm a big believer that once you lead from your heart, any team that you lead will follow anything you say, just because they know that they are at your best interest.
Well, and the saying is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And once you start showing that you care more, just by being more genuine and the things that you say, how you look at them, what you talk about, I think that has a ripple effect of emanating throughout the organization, and definitely in your immediate reports space.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm working on right now, where I want to bring this awareness again to everybody in the community. And I'm offering my classes for free for a lot of people, for a lot of businesses, because I want them to experience this. This is just such a beautiful thing to experience, that it's just going to bring more people into this awakening, into the light, into just enjoying. I mean,
well, hopefully you're journaling a lot still, and
yeah,
you'll eventually have your own book to write about all those experiences in your journey.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. My book is kind of, my journal's kind of crazy, but
it's okay. One day you can parse it all.
Yes.
Well, so if listeners remember one thing from today's conversation, what do you want it to be?
Remember that the medicine is within you.
I think that's something similar to what Dr. Varvaris said, who I recently had on the show, and he's a triple board certified functional medicine, regenerative medicine, clinical lipidology, and internal. So for you to say the same thing, I think that there's something going on there, right? You have the lay person in terms of the medical professional, then you have the medical professional themselves who is saying, I think he used food is the medicine, but the medicine being within you is sort of tying it all together, right? It helps us get away from thinking we need to medicate ourselves with prescription and even over-the-counter drugs.
Exactly. Like the medicine is within you, meaning that you can heal
That's
yourself.
Exciting. That's exciting, especially if let's say you don't have health insurance and you're thinking, I can't afford all this medicine. Well, if you can get off of it and just believe that the medicine's within you, then you don't have to go to the pharmacy as much, or maybe not at all.
I mean, yes. Do we have to seek medical assistance? For sure.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's just something that we should do too.
Yeah, and this is not medical or legal advice.
Yes.
I'll just make that disclaimer right now.
But I would say that we need to pause and take a moment to really feel within our heart and find what is hurting us. And find ways to release what is hurting us. Be able to be vulnerable enough to say, I'm hurting, right? And look for things. In Naples, there's so many meditation studios and yoga and Tai Chi, Qigong. I mean, you name it. There is places that you can go and find yourself, or you can simply just go to the beach, put your feet on the water, and thank the ocean for just scooping that energy away from you and bringing you new energy. And even said, I actually did that last week. I just stand there and I said to the ocean, just take this energy that doesn't longer serve me. Just take it away from me And as the wave is coming in, allow me to receive this beautiful energy that you're bringing to me from the universe.
I think you should put that on a t-shirt. Ocean, take this away and allow me to receive the energy.
Yes.
You make it on a tank top so they can wear it to the beach.
But it's a great practice.
Yeah.
It's a great practice. And, you know, it makes you remember that the medicine is within you. And it's so powerful. It sounds very easy to say, but it's just so, so powerful. It really is.
Well, I want to appreciate you for coming on and sharing everything with us.
Yes.
And why don't you tell me if there a website people can go to learn more about you, social media? What should they look for to find you?
Yes. So I'm working on my Instagram. I still have my full-time job, so loading content is a little bit hard for me, but it's called guidedbylight.us.
Okay.
I also would love for you guys to check out Elemental Rhythm. They're on Instagram too, and I have to mention it because Gio truly changed my life, and I am a facilitator because of him, and he guided me through my courage and through all the things that I needed. So if he hears this podcast, Gio, we love you. But Elemental Rhythm for sure, the website, and then you can also see if you want to become a facilitator after you take some classes, but just for the sake of the classes.
Okay.
And yeah, and I'm actually doing some classes at Seat to Table too. There's some classes in September coming up. We're going to be doing probably 2 times a month, trying to spread it out. But in August we had our first class, and it was great. Everybody loved it. So we were.
I watched some of the snippets of it, and you can see more about Mariana on that guidedbylight.us on the Instagram handle. And well, that was good stuff. I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thank you.
We'll have future guests that'll start to tie in how you might use some practical advice in the executive world to release some of the pressures that create that anxiety. There's always little things you can do to make it easier for you to reduce your own anxiety.
Yes.
Breathwork is one of them. Well, thanks again.
Thank you, Matt. Very grateful to be here.
You're welcome.